It has been a long couple of days for campers at Wilson Lake in Russell County. Storms blew through late Wednesday night, overturning campers and even leading to one death. 12 News reporter Gabriela Hernandez has a first-hand look at some of the cleanup underway.
Camper trailers like this one, among many others, damaged in storms Wednesday evening. Now people are sharing their first-hand experience with the damage and cleanup efforts. The storm killing Christopher Montoya and leaving several others injured. Park manager Willis Ohl says with camping safety, the best thing people can do is be mindful of others.
Sometimes people have been camping for years, and sometimes people are just starting to learn how to camp. You know, whether that be in big fifth wheels and pull behind campers or just tent camping. Be cordial to each other, be nice to each other, help each other out. And that seems to make the weekends go by a lot better and a lot safer.
Ohl says in total, Wheatgrass campsite had 4 overturned or damaged campers, and in Big Blue Stem, 2 campers. So far, most of the debris has stayed out of the water, but he says to be mindful just in case. In Russell County, Gabriela Hernandez, 12 News.